It surrounds us here, like an invisible mist. Takes cat's eyes to see it creep. Even so, it's plain as day to the east, all about Ikara's cabin. Immaculates beset it, no doubt under Leandra's orders. If she has ordered such thorough defenses of her sister's cabin, we may be certain that whatever lies within will be a prize more precious than butter-baked plaice. That means Ikara herself must be there, Hunter. And it is essential that you find her. Only she can shed light on the details of Leandra's plans. Ha! Zigzags would see you dash rather than mosey. But matters such as these require a thoughtful approach. Leandra and her cronies may be lunatics all, but they're far from brainless. So be wary, Hunter, and be safe.
Ah,
Your grave opens to welcome you!
soaked to the skin!
In the name of the goddess, halt! Who goes there? In that case, you can rest easy, Hunter. There is no source to be found here. Only the glory. Why, it's Silver Glen, of course. Once the abode of miners, now the abode of the faithful. We have traded the search for silver for the pursuit of divinity. I'm sure this sounds strange in what are strangers' ears, but you must know that but a short while ago a frightful sickness felled us by the dozen, until she who speaks for the goddess brought us a cure. She showed us how we may overcome the frailty and even the decrepitude of our mortal bodies. That is why we now live a life of devoutness and civility, so that we may become immaculate. But I suggest you talk to Father Loic if you want to learn more about the ways of the goddess. Be welcome, therefore, to... The lost ones out there wander.
I
Their
wouldn't
blood
trust these
is impure.
centuries to guard a pig pen. Keep alert,
The
comrades.
degenerates here claim they have been cleansed.
The Immaculates here seem to be a friendly enough bunch.
Seem being the...
As you know, I once carried the burden of disease upon emaciated shoulders. Perhaps I had better explain in greater detail. By all means, if you're in the mood for such a dark tale. It went like this, Hunter. If a ghoul I had become, so a dark turn of thought convinced me. A ghoul's methods I should employ to escape the labyrinthian crypt of corporeal corruption. A necromancer I'd be. Yes, only from deep within the deliriums of death would I tunnel my way back into the gardens of life. I did unspeakable things in the dusky dungeons that twist like forgotten veins to long-deceased organs far beneath my castle's sunlit halls. Halls which held my throne and held the bed upon which Heraka slept. Her very touch blessing the satin Still there came no relief. Perversions I created in scores, but they were mere undead all. Creatures so piteous that the thought of cheating death in their guise frightened me more than the swing of the scythe itself. Like mosquitoes in the night, panic and despair beset me until I turned to that darkest of all arts, demonology. It had to be. There was no other way. I could feel the life slipping out of me like love out of a betrayed spouse's heart. So I studied tomes so old the dust that fell from their centuries' unperused pages never knew the light of the stars that now shine.
Over here, Hunter. It's me, Ahu.
I drew forbidden symbols. I spoke unhallowed words, and from the smoke that rose like a dragon's last breath, a demon appeared to me and said, "Ask, O blighted king, and you shall have." "Just tell me," I cried. "Tell me what ails me." Hiraka. Never had I known a single word can cut deeper than the sharpest of daggers. With maddening glee, the demon told me she was one of his kin. A soul-swallowing horror that had been feeding on both my body and my spirit like a leech. An ancient being was she, that moved from king to king throughout the ages, filling their hearts with love, then draining them of life. After such revelations, does one truly desire to live on? Death seemed like a mother then, welcoming me with her "all will be well" embrace. Yet still I feared exceedingly her seemingly sweet caress, and the oblivion that would follow. Release me from her, demon, and give me back the strength of a sick, free existence. So went my desperate plea. It smiled, of course it did. Smiled bare 100 razors as its eyes came alight with infernal fire. 1,000 years I will give you, it whispered. But then your soul shall be mine to incarcerate in the depths of hellish nemesis. As for your throne, that I'll have now. What say you, O brittle king? Do you accept my terms? I think you know the answer to that question, Hunter. But I've said enough for now. These memories are painful to more prey. Oh.
Well, well, well. So our very own demon hunter once dabbled in the so-called darkest of arts himself. Neither can I. Clearly his great love was almost the very
It's me, Ahu. Source Hunter, you've made it into the hamlet of Silverglen, I see. Unnerving spot, don't you find? Leandra has fashioned herself a hero here, but the townsfolk don't seem to know the truth behind the conduit, though they call themselves Immaculates. They're thick as trout, if you ask me, and unnaturally obsessed with ancient teachings. I haven't seen Leandra here myself, but she must have put on quite a show of magical mastery to enthrall a crowd of shaggy miners, to have them hop on the bandwagon of a shadowy religion wholly alien to them. Haven't you heard them whisper of the blood? How their eyes shine when they discuss certain stellar stones? Star stones, of course, which drenched in blood become bloodstones and are used in healing rituals. Now, I can see how it could be a fantastic thing to nurse a dying human back to health, if all it takes is to sacrifice a toad. But I spy bloodlust in these people's eyes. A bloodlust that goes beyond the usual meaning of the word. They all act like they're following a benign goddess that will lead them to paradise. But I'll be a dappled Dalmatian if any of that is true. I've been shadowing the local priest, a man by the name of Loik. I have the feeling he knows more than most in Silver Glen, for I've followed him in the night when he meets with cloaked strangers, and goblins even. Mangoth? Hyberheim? Of strange things I've heard him whisper. Yes, this priest has shady goings-on written all over that smug, holier-than-thou face of his. But we must start at the beginning, Source Hunter. The White Witch is still at large. If we want to get to the true heart of Leandra's doings, we must start with her sister. And she's far likelier to be in her cabin among the trees than here among Leandra's followers. The advantage of being a puss, my friend, is that one can pussyfoot. A white-haired wizard draws attention, but a cat can move about unnoticed and, indeed, unseen. Not that I'm not extra wary of these bloodsuckers, though. There's a conspicuous absence of pets in this eerie little town. The Immaculate's presence here is highly disconcerting. But we mustn't lose sight of our mission, Source Hunter. The White Witch resides somewhere in the wilds of the surrounding forest, and we must find her.
Blessed be the goddess, and blessed be the conduit.
Welcome be, O seeking souls, to this holy house of Immaculates.
Blessed be the conduit. Blessed be the goddess, and blessed be the conduit.
Diligently will I read the words of the goddess.
Immaculate I want to be. The blood of the lost will flow.
I am Loic, enlightened one among Immaculates, spokesman for the holy conduit, as she is spokesman for the goddess herself. Hers is the blood. Then it shall be my pleasure to answer them. We are the chosen ones of the goddess. The benedictions of the blood render our bodies and spirits unblemished, for such is her mercy, that we may all become part of the sacred soul. And you too, Seeker, could become one such part.
Immaculate I want to be. The blood of the lost will flow.
Let me spill blood for thee, O Holy One!
The conduit, yes. She, the most exalted of all, second only to the goddess. It was she who brought us first her divine words, then her divine will, a will made real in blood. Truly, though, she is quite beyond your concern, O wandering soul. She stands so very high above your humble station. The goddess is the light and life of all. Corrupt is the world that generations of men and beasts have left behind, but immaculate it may be once more, cleansed in the blood of the unworthy. The few, the proud, the enlightened, theirs will be her kingdom. When red has run until no red is left, a paradise we will...
Beware of the lost ones out there, Wanderer. Their blood is impure.
Alma Malbenita, a source hunter in Silverglen. I have traveled mile on top of mile to find help, and now help has, how you say, appeared from skinny vapors. My story? Well, this is no small tale. I think perhaps you will be more interested in the, how you say, the short end of stick. I believe Lawrence, the leader of Mining Guild, tell my husband and many of other workers to mine deadly ore called tenebrium. Lawrence knew that this ore caused rot. Charming name, no? Yet ordered miners to continue. Many men, my Ben among them, become the sickness. And now they, how you say, kick down the bucket. But the sickness, it is not normal. It kills swift and terrible, not unlike Source. My son Sebi and I travel from our home to find truth, but this has proven not so easy. My sweet little Pomargo Visago, my darling Ben, we got along like, how you say, peas and ferrets. But here there is work, very well paid, in mines, clearing special rock from silver mine. So he leaves Sebi and I to come to Silverglen. We wait with hearts like stones for some months. And one day, we see familiar figure moving with strange steps on path toward cottage. We run to meet him and take him into our arms, but he collapsed at our touch. We help him inside and set him to rest. But he was in terrible condition. Each hour he grew worse, rot so fast we hardly recognize him after 2 short days. He slipped away from us, and we bury him with much grief. When his father died, Sebi became restless. Being of the age, he joined army and go straight to front line. Though I was nearly old woman, I joined army as healer to be near and look after my boy. There we saw special legionnaire using strange weapon. And this legionnaire soon come to my tent with the same disease that killed Ben. I discovered the tenebrium ore in this weapon. It was the ore that killed them both. I come to Silverglen to discover truth, and here I find Lawrence, that arrogant man, conducts his business without apologize to any. Exactly this. Please, Source Hunter, you must help me prove that Lawrence made his workers to mine deadly tenebrium. For your help, I offer blessing from my homeland. Se vi mal successos, mi plantos rizzarbo cae tormenti via nepo soggiai branco. Translation is difficult, but it means something like, if you fail, I will plant cherry tree and haunt your grandbaby beneath branches. Good luck. I will do my best to give answer, Source Hunter. May Zalmoxis strike him down, the murderer! I have one goal in Silverglen, to make him share in the suffering he caused. I am certain he has gained from making those miners take the tenebrium. Now I have only to prove it. I have not found scrap of civilization among these apes. Sebi longs for heaping plate of my famous sire mule, but the local fairs support no fine food, unless squirrel meat inspire you. As for neighbors, well, those cultists would rather sacrifice supper to goddess than eat it. Nothing natural could cause such terrible disease at mere touch. If you ask me, I say dark magic. Maybe even Source at its root. Fuck that foul thing! A terrible disease. It transforms flesh of living into flesh of corpse, while infected person still lives. Arms grow black and heavy, legs grow black and heavy, hair rots from scalp. Cielo helpo min! Oh, what memories I have.
Hello and welcome. You've probably noticed that my mother Nadia and I aren't from around here. No. We traveled rather far from our hometown to plant new roots here in Silver Glen. My father, Ben, his death was somewhat mysterious, and we've traced the puzzle back to this little settlement. My mother will have plenty to say on that subject, if you're interested. Ma's a bit intense, to be sure. Set in her ways, but fiercely loyal to the family. Help her out and you've got a friend for life. Cross her, and you'll be better off skipping town. Not that that'll stop her from cursing your line for the next 1,000 cycles of Bendis. My father was a good man, equal in character to his wife. His death nearly destroyed us, Ma and me. But now we're here, and we won't leave until we've held the proper parties accountable for their role in his death.
What do you think you are doing?
Why don't you stay a while, darling?
Delicious. Now that is a tasty beverage.
Praise the goddess!
Enjoying your stay in Silk. Give one of the comfort folk a visit, if you're in the mood. I reckon...
Goddess has been a coursing through my very veins!
Ma!
You deaf?
Oh, dear, dear, dear. You'll hardly impress the conduit with such a clouded look about your eye.
Ah, thank...
Ever shot a bullseye in your sleep? Well, no wonder with your skill book as empty as all that.
You startled me. Let me compose my... Hello, stranger. How can I help you? Oh, me? Oh, I'm just the waitress around here, as you can see. My husband, Blossius, is a legionnaire, currently stationed in Sicil, but I haven't heard from him in far too long. He will? But that means he's... Oh, no. Oh, not my cutie, broody buttercup.
beneath that hide of yours, isn't there? Yes, a lovely sturdy.
I hope you haven't come.
Look at you, Sugar. Oh, I could take you on a ride neither of us would soon forget. No, Sugar, that's a story for another day, ain't it? Speaking of, yours and mine has hardly begun. What say we get better acquainted upstairs? I've got all kinds of, Oh, go right ahead, sweetheart. Darling, I don't hardly recognise this place no more. Everything's changed since those silly Immaculates came into vogue. The miners, they used to spend their last penny on a backwards glance from yours truly. But now, they'd rather pray than play. Ugh, I just don't understand it.
Tell me, sweetie.
They just stand around and praise the so-called goddess all day long. I've no idea who she is, but apparently she gets her kicks from having blood sprayed all over her. Now, I knew a girl once who was into that kind of stuff. Her clients used to call her goddess and mistress too, but there was precious little divine about her. Indeed I do. And I'm just itching to take you places you've only ever dreamed of, darling. What's a lousy 250 gold between an adventurer like you and a fine piece of tale like the one I've got in store for you? Oh, that's the spirit, Sugar. Oh, gold. Oh.
'Cause you're the answer to all my prayers. Tell me, sweetie, you haven't gone
God, the fuse is getting shorter. Stop it! Freeze it!
Stop talking, naughty princess! Leave fuse alone! Oh, oh. You there! Back off! Bicky bomb! One more step and Bicky boom!
No, don't go! Please. Come on, are you afraid of that pathetic little thing? Show us what you've got! I didn't think you'd be so easily fazed. Get it together.
Very well, have it your. Oh, hum. The 7 grant abundance.
There you are, darling. Shall we get started then? Oh, let's do it. But first, I need to know about your preferences, darling. You're in charge tonight, after all. So tell me, which sort best floats your boat? A savage, merciless witch, or a gentle, sensual? I was hoping you'd say that. Not every customer can handle the thrill of a mid-afternoon fright, you know. And if I'm any good at this, I'll scare the pants right off you. Come, let's make ourselves comfortable. And this witch will weave her charms. It was a terribly stormy night. In the tiny hut, a cauldron steamed and bubbled. A figure stood in the corner, pressing its fat, purple nose into the sharp indentation where the hut's walls met. Low muttering burbled through its jagged teeth and bloated lips. A knock, swift and sharp, fell upon the door. "Babe Orb!" a small voice called. "Babe Orb! It's happening! It's time!" The figure stood up straight and straightened the long, stained apron that hung about its hips. "A moment, child, a moment!" Babe Orb croaked, hurrying over to the cauldron. She quickly filled 2 flasks with the swirling violet brew and stuffed them into her pouch. In a flash, she was through the hut's door, flicking 2 gold coins at the grubby child, who scrambled to retrieve them from the dark doorsteps where they fell. The wind whipped Babe Orb's hair, lashing her thick skin with thorns. But the old witch had mind for one fact alone. The counsellor was nearly dead. After some minutes, she arrived at the edges of town. Working her way into the counsellor's sick room now required stealth, not speed. And so Babe Orb crept, silent as a cat, between alley and square until she came to the doors of his old, silent mansion. It was nearly easy for the witch to sidle in, masked in a simple wallflower charm, and wind her way into the crowded room where the counsellor lay dying. She cradled her flask in her arms, enjoyed their warm sloshing, and awaited the final moment. "Soon," she whispering croaked, "soon enough the counsellor will be mine." The wailing mourners around her took no notice. And that's the end of chapter 1. So cutie! What do you think? Oh, I bet you could use a pipe, couldn't you? A few puffs sure takes the edge off the suspense, doesn't it? Oh well. This has been a pleasure, darling. Come find me again, any old time. Hi there, cutie pie. Wanna have a good time?
You believe in the gods, baby? Because you're the answer to all my prayers.
Where the wind blows, the goddess breathes. Where the rivers run, the goddess weeps. How can I connect you to our eternal goddess, my friend?
aching
Come
to share a
hither,
moment
sweetheart.
together.
Oh, if I had a star for every time you right my name.
Brandon, what news from the mines?
No news, sir. Goblins will... Source hunter, are you? What brings you to this neck of the woods? The goblins? The orcs? The cult? Or the whole pretty bouquet? Don't be surprised if you hear more than a few unkind words about yours truly around town. An overseer's got to enforce his share of unpopular guild decisions, you know. I'm finished with this one pony rodeo, though. I did my best by these roughnecks, and now it's time for old Brandon to take a load off. In fact, you may be able to help speed my retirement plan along.
I must say, I'm also...
Ha-ha! I knew a source hunter'd perk up at the sound of a chat.